So I'm not really good at starting these videos off, but I had been thinking all day today about making a video on talking about cheekbones. So that's what we're going to talk about. Because Cillian Murphy, the movies came out by now, but he's the first person that comes to mind. I see him a lot on my Explore feed on Instagram, and he's very well known for having sunken cheeks and really pronounced cheekbones. So I think that would be really important for anybody who's into fashion, who wants to improve their fashion game, who wants to be more good looking, who wants to be, say, a model. Cheekbones are seen as very important. And I'll perhaps show it on the screen. Maybe I'll do like a pop-up showing the difference. But everybody has cheekbones, but not everybody has pronounced cheekbones, and that could change. The difference between having pronounced cheekbones and just looking blah is pretty spectacular. It's almost inhuman-like. Someone who has really pronounced cheekbones, they look like a different person. And this is why this specific feature is very much valued within modeling, acting even, because Cillian Murphy, he's not a model, but we all know it's kind of like a hierarchy. If you are good looking, you can get modeling, but if you have the right connections, you can be good looking and then also just be an actor, which it comes from just being a good looking person. You get those benefits. But so when it comes to cheekbones and giving yourself that high definition look and allowing your face to just look more pronounced and prominent, everybody has cheekbones. Some people have bigger cheekbones than others. Some people have more pronounced, more prominent ones. Some have smaller cheekbones, higher, lower, whatever. In this video, I'm going to kind of break down all the ways to improve your look and to make your cheekbones more prominent. Damn. So what I mean by cheekbones is if you go to your face, you go right here, you're going to feel cheekbones underneath however much fat you have in your face. Now, I'm not completely perfect, but you can see this is where they call it an OG curve, and the more pronounced that is, which I have a little bit of fat here, you can see there, that's some fat that I need to lose in order to make this more pronounced. But what's going to happen is the less fat you have, the more your face starts to sink in, and all the features that you have, all the good features, are just going to become more pronounced. So the cheekbones right here is going to give your face just a more curvy look. It's not going to look like a bleh. And you can see that if you look into the mirror, you can see how pronounced that is. Now if you smile, it becomes even more pronounced. And there's a few ways to make your cheekbones, for one, more pronounced and prominent, and then for two, to make your face like sink in, and to make these cheeks sink in as well, so that it becomes like a threefold effect where, sure, you can have, like, I can have a big chest, but then if I have a big stomach, then what was the point? You're not going to see any difference at all. But if you have big cheekbones, then you have a very small, thin cheeks, then everything's just going to look even more definitive. And so for one, starting off with that, in our face now we have about 52 muscles. So you have muscles like, you got muscles for your mouth, like maybe like this. I don't know if you can see the muscles of my jawline, but this is called the masseter muscle, and it's very big, but I don't know if you can see that. This is really big. It covers about right here, and this sits underneath what's called this sits underneath the cheekbones for one, but also just underneath right here, underneath the cheekbones, this whole area is called the maxilla bone. And your tongue as well as your masseter muscles are pretty much the support for that. So it's very important if you want to have pronounced cheekbones, and two, you want to be able to sink in your cheeks, is to build that muscle. Now what I do is there's a few ways to do it. You can, they call it a mastic gum. You can eat mastic gum, and that's gonna make your cheek. It's a gum that's really hard, and you can eat that. You can just use chewing gum, but most chewing gums have too much sugar, and that's not what you want in your body. And it's too soft too because of the sugar. Because of that, you're not gonna really. It's gonna take forever. And then you can use the mastic gum for 2, which is really a really hard gum. It does work. I just don't like buying it. It's very inconvenient because I gotta order it, and I can't get it somewhere at my market. But I have used it, and it really is effective. But personally, what I do is I just eat Jack Links. Now, I don't even have, today is not even like perfect. You can see this. You can see the line right here. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm better than what I was. And I know what exactly what I did wrong. I didn't have this yesterday. I was eating, like, I had eggs and bacon, and then I had French toast. I didn't eat anything hard. That's important because in a book called Jaws, it basically outlays modern society's dental facial issues. So in modern era society, our dental facial structure has weakened, and the reason why that is because the food that we eat is very soft. So just think about any food that you have today or yesterday or whatever, or just most food that people eat, especially in the Western era. It's all soft food. You know, fast food is all basically bread. It's all like bread. Even the meat, it's cooked, it's soft. It's not like the era where we had to, just eat everything raw, eat your carrots raw, eat your meat raw. And because of that, you have to eat really hard meat, and you have to chew through it, and you're working the muscles, and it's making all the muscles really tight and hard, giving you more support for those cheeks, as well as just making everything just more tight. And the problem that it outlays mainly is overcrowded teeth problem, which I'm not going to go into detail with because it's not what this video is about. But essentially what happens is because people are eating soft food, they're not working enough of the jaw muscles, the mastoid muscle, and it causes the mouth to just Alright, as I was saying, so because of the soft foods that we eat today, such as, I'm not talking to you, they say, goddamn. Because of the soft foods that we eat today, such as burgers, French toast, pancakes, whatever it may be, and we're not going back to the caveman days where we had to eat our food raw, it causes the mastoid muscle to get weakened, and thus people's faces are just kind of melting. Their mouths are wide open. They're not using their tongue to support the roof of their mouth and to support the maxilla bone, and because of that, their cheekbones are falling down. Whereas if you eat like this, it's really tough food, and you eat more tough food. You eat your carrots and you eat vegetables that causes like broccoli, and you eat it raw. You're gonna work the muscles more, and that's gonna give you that support and give the maxilla bone enough support so that the cheekbones are able to prop up more, as well as using that muscle is gonna burn a lot of the fat that lies within the cheeks. So you're just gonna watch it sink. So that's one aspect to it. Another aspect of eating those foods as well, and this is something that you wouldn't really realize unless you watch a video like this, is what happens when you eat foods like this too, and just regular raw foods like a caveman diet, is you stop using a lot of your cheeks to eat. So the problem is when you're eating a burger or you're eating pizza or you're eating just carbs in general, is when you're eating it, depending on how you eat, typically when you eat it, you have to really like bite into it. The problem with that is you have muscles here, and in the last video I talked about hypertrophy, atrophy, and utilizing that in the correct manner. Well, Mike Mew talks about going into atrophy whenever you're eating, so that you don't use this muscle here. The more you use this muscle though, the more your face is gonna bloat up. Whereas if you eat proper foods and you are chewing correctly, and you don't want to fill your face up. Essentially, is the idea.